Kiara's niece lost her husband, her mother, and a nephew. He was shot by the RSF in the street right at the beginning, and for no reason. Samira's mother died of grief shortly afterwards. More than bullets, it's been disease, malnutrition, and trauma that have taken a toll on their family.
6 of our relatives died, either by depression or sickness. There's a strange insect that causes the person to lose their appetite and fall asleep all the time until they die.
As to the young, their future has been frozen. Arwan, grade 5. Mazen, freshman in medicine. Mus'ab, final year, civil engineering. Ali, sophomore, dentistry. But that was 2 years ago. They have no idea when they will be back to school again. Across the street, Abdul Karim lives alone. He sent his family away and stayed to guard the home and nurse his small collection of birds.
I saw people being killed by the RSF. They even shot one another for such a trivial reason, such as a cigarette or an argument. They would kill passers-by at a whim or any pretext. You didn't flee. You must be a spy or some gold or other valuables to guard.
He hit his rickshaw and removed its engine to make it less appealing to looters. He cut trees for firewood and fetched drinking water from the river. These families say they still have no water or electricity or relief supplies. But they tell us they now have the one thing they needed most for the last 2 years, a sense of security. At times, safety can take precedence over freedom. But with the Sudanese army retaking Khartoum, Abdul Karim says he now has both restored. But no one knows if these little friends here feel the same. Mohammed Far, Al Jazeera, Khartoum.
The US has announced it's revoking all visas for South Sudanese passport holders and blocking new arrivals effective immediately. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the move is in response to the country's refusal to accept the return of repatriated citizens. The Trump administration has taken aggressive measures to crack down on immigration, warning that countries which don't take back their citizens will face consequences. South Sudan is facing the risk of returning to civil war after weeks of unrest. Waiting for a break, then after. Turkey as a main opposition party re-elects its leader, who's calling for an early election to end the recent political crisis. And the actor George Clooney takes centre stage, bringing star power to a Broadway show about the journalist who challenged McCarthyism in 1950s America.
What is it?
Now, the violently stormy weather recently around Tennessee, Kentucky, and Arkansas, drifting eastwards as a cold front is taking the big showers running towards the Atlantic coast and down towards Florida. Behind
What is it,
are cooler, but they're also more settled. There's still a hint of winter in the northeast, particularly eastern Canada, and there's certainly snow on the higher ground on the west coast as well, and particularly western Canada. But in between the two, relatively settled weather almost. The temperatures are notable if I put the background on. So it's obviously cold still. It's obviously mountain cold, but the warmth is pushing towards the Midwest once again, which you would expect, of course, this time of the year. Now, back a bit. This is the tail end of the showers. They may well become quite pokey down in southern Mexico as well, in Yucatan, and cross into Guatemala, which is to be expected with an active cold front like that. It'll tend to die away by Tuesday, but it hasn't gone away. So big showers, possible flash floods. And that's almost a certainty in some countries in South America as well. The seasonal rain is quite heavy from Ecuador eastwards, certainly in northern Brazil, and recently around Rio it's been fairly wet. It looks like the concentration of heavier rain in the form of thunderstorms is going to be Uruguay, northern Argentina, and then crossing into that southeast part of Brazil.
divides the south. 8 Palestinians have been killed by an Israeli strike on Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. The body of a child has been removed from the rubble. It's the latest rocket attack after a day of relentless Israeli strikes on Gaza, which have killed at least 50 Palestinians since dawn on Sunday. Several rockets have been fired from Gaza into southern Israel. Sirens were heard in the cities of Ashkelon, Ashdod, and several surrounding communities. Hamas's military wing, the Qassam Brigades, has claimed responsibility. The Sudanese government says about 2,700 Sudanese refugees who fled to Egypt are making their way back to the country, but remain stranded at the border due to a shortage of buses. This as the rapid support forces launch attacks on several towns and parts of the country where the Sudanese army is battling for control.